Hello guys, good evening, good morning. We are now starting this webinar. My name is Ganesh. I'm having total 14 years of IT experience. I work as a developer, I'm a mentor, a trainer, and currently working on a couple of data science projects in my own company. I have been with Cognixia for a couple of years, and I'm one of the trainer for Cognixia. This webinar is designed for 1 hour, so there will be 1 hour presentation from my side, and we have another 30 minutes for question and answers, which I'll take in the second part of this webinar. Okay, this webinar is to give you guys some overview on data science, some of the jargon, statistics, and tools used in data science. I'm very excited for this session, guys. So this is really a very short session, but gives a lot of insights about the important techniques and tools used in data science. Okay, so I'm sure you might be having many questions, and you guys are excited, equally, and you guys are posting questions. Keep on posting your questions. I'll take those questions, in the second part of the webinar. Okay, I'll go with the flow, with the presentation. We have some slides and agenda for the day, and then later on I'll cover the questions. Okay, first of all, thank you guys. Thank you for pulling out some time and joining this webinar. And definitely we will go through some of the important things, important data science concepts going forward. Okay, before I proceed, I just want to give you a little overview about the Cognixia. I'm sure you guys must be knowing this is a this Cognixia is an arm of the global company called Collabora. Okay, so they are into the training. They deliver training in more than 37 countries, more than 1 million professionals they have trained worldwide, and they have many clients across the globe, 450 plus clients, 4,500 plus trainers like me. They are based in the industry trainers, available in the pool of their trainers. And Cognixia is best in class training on the emerging technologies. Okay. There are some awards for the company. There are many achievements by the company. These are some of the awards listed here. How this company has awarded for the excellence in the training by Asia, the IoT top 10 IoT training companies in 2017, World HRD Congress. There's another award by World HRD Congress in 2018. And there are many such awards by Big Data, Silicon India, 10 IoT, again 2016, 2017, top emerging 5 technologies, 2016 and 2017, top cloud 5 trainings, and top 10 IoT trainings. Okay, so these are some of the awards we have mentioned here. Cognixia works with the training partner, authorized training partner for global companies, global product companies like Red Hat, Automation Anywhere, ITIL, ISS Square, and Microsoft. Okay, so these are some of the partners globally Cognixia have. And before I proceed further with this webinar, I just want to give you the agenda for the session today, what we are going to cover in this short discussion, short webinar. So these are some of the important aspects we are going to discuss about data science today. Okay, so this agenda I will continue, and later part of this discussion, there will be some practical case study we will be discussing about, and I will demonstrate how to solve some of the data science problems using Python. Okay, all the questions I'll park by the end of this session, so feel free to drop your questions. I will go through this later part of this session. Okay, guys. So before that, I just wanted to understand what is data science. What do you think is the data science? A lot of people might have heard about or might be working in this domain, in this world altogether, right? So what this data science is all about. Okay, so data science is an application of computer science. It is a data-driven science where computer science is used, statistics and mathematics is used, your domain knowledge is used to solve some of the business problems. Okay, so this helps to make effective decisions for the businesses. right? It's a scientific process for converting raw data into the knowledge, and that supports to make the the decision. Okay, so a lot of companies have a lot of data, and they want to understand what we can do with the data. Okay, so they don't know what to do with the data, but they have been collecting the data for decades, and they don't know what to do, right? And the data science is a is a field where data scientists or machine learning engineer or a person who work in data science, the experts who can provide some insights for from the data what they have, and that insight, those information can help them to take some effective decisions in their businesses to improve the businesses, of course. So this is a science, this is a data driven science, and it is a uh, multidisciplinary field where scientific methods, processes, and the system is used to extract the data, to find the insights from the data in the different forms, and we can present to the business. We can make the businesses to take some decisions for the business to solve some of the problems. Correct. So data scientists who provide such important aspects or important insights about the data, and these this data can be used to find the patterns, or maybe we can understand the customer behavior, and this information can be used for any type of businesses. This can be used to improve the business, or improve the revenue, or improve the customer experience, or better decisions, or improve the society. So the every part of this whole process helps to improve the businesses. Okay, and today every business faces the challenges, right? Every business faces the problems, be it sales, be it marketing, be it finance or supply chain or logistics, or whatever business area, whatever domain we consider, we take it, right? So they have some problems, and this field of data science will help them to have some effective decisions to improve some of the businesses, or to improve their sales by doing the cross selling, by improving the upselling. So whatever domain we are talking about, there are many use cases how data science can help to improve the businesses. Okay, so this is a formal definition on the slide. You can see. I'll add on this with couple of examples. For example, suppose I talk about, let's say, customer churn management. Okay, so customer churning means in a simple word to make you understand, what I can tell is, let's say we have operator, and the operators customers, if they leave from one operator to another operator, let's say using MNP, so there is a huge revenue loss, isn't it? So what operator need to do is, to overcome this, is they have to have more customers, or they have to retain those customers, right? And that is what is called customer churning. And this is applicable not only in the telecom industry, but it can be in the banking. Suppose I am a customer to one bank, and probably I leave the bank and join some other bank, or maybe I use some other bank's credit card. So that is another example where every business wants to manage their customer churning, right? So data science can help help these businesses to use the historical data for last 1 month or 1 year or maybe 10 years, and we can use this data to predict what might happen with the customer base, what this companies have, right? So they can have some predictive model, and this model can help them that, okay, based on the historical data, why people have left in the past. Okay, what was the reason, what all things they faced, what are the comments, what are the customer complaints they have. So all this is a data which is a very important information, which can be used for predicting what might happen in the future, right? So that way, if I help such businesses to predict what might happen, or how many customers are about to leave if this continues, right? So that kind of information can help these businesses to retain the customers. Probably the operator might launch customized packages or customized plans for those customers, or they can provide probably some good discounts. So somehow, they can retain their customer base. Okay, so this is only an example. There are many use cases, many examples. It can be, let's say, credit card score analysis, or fraud detection. So these are some of the examples we can think about. So in the retail industry also, we can based on the existing data, we can have the strategy to upsell or cross sell, or retain the customers in the retail domain. Okay, so this is the example. This is all about what data science means. Data science means it's a science driven by the data, and which provides the insights and which can help us to have some kind of predictions. Correct. So let's move on. Why data science? Why there is a need of data science? Before that, I want to make you understand what data means first, right? What is data? Okay, data science is a multidisciplinary field where we know that some of the statistics, or you might have heard, we need to know some basic statistics, basic mathematics, or data mining tools or techniques, or some of the computer programming, right? You might have heard about R programming, Python, or Java, or natural language processing, or machine learning, or deep learning. So all these words are, are to do something with the data, and that's the whole world altogether, and we call it as a data science. Okay, so what is data first? Okay, there's a huge amount of data, and we know today a lot of data is getting generated every day, every hour, or every minute, right? So it's not like what was the situation maybe a decade ago, or maybe 5 years ago, right? Today, out of whatever data is available in the world, so 95% of the data got generated in last 2 to 3 years. Okay, and that's huge. Okay, so that means for hundreds of years, whatever was generated, that's the digital data, of course, is now compared to what is generated in last few years is huge, right? And this is a data explosion, and there is a lot to come again, right? The data revolution is it to be exploded, right? And there are a lot of technologies drives this, like machine to machine, or home broadband, or IoT, or autonomous cars. You might have heard about in artificial intelligence, are the sensors deployed at the on the field, on the various domain, various industries, be it ship, or oil and gas, or it can be anything, right? So, and the 5G is coming up. So this is something a future what I can see, a lot to come, and the explosion has to happen, right? And so the opportunities, correct? So because data is the new oil, we can see how these big giants in the world drive the whole world, I would say, right? So for example, Google knows a lot about me, what even I don't know probably, right? So that is possible because of the data, what they have, what they collect, what they do with the data, correct? So and based on whatever is there, and in future, if you go with this new technologies coming up, IoT, or sensors, or autonomous car, or 5G, or home broadband, or machine to machine talk, so all these things are going to generate tremendous amount of data. Okay, and there the opportunities are still there, and a lot of opportunities we can see that this particular domain is bringing. Okay, so data, as you can see in the slide, data can be with a different variety, different format. It can be a structured data, it can be semi-structured, and it can be unstructured data. Okay, you might know this, but I'll just briefly one line about each of these types. Structured data is something we can easily see in the tabular format. It can be like a CSV or Excel sheet, or it can be a database, database tables which we can easily read. So this is called a structured data. And semi-structured data is some special form of the data, like XML, or JSON, or YAML. So this is categorized as a semi-structured data, and there is something called unstructured data. So data is the huge amount of data, if I'm talking about, so data can be in any of the form. Unstructured means it can be a text data, it can be images or video or audio, or maybe your health report, diagnostic report. So it can be anything, right? So, and more than 80% is the unstructured data, and the data science is all about making some sense of all these types of data, bringing something on the table to make a decision, correct? So this is the example what data is, how the real-time analytics can be performed on the data. And there are some statistical tools we'll be discussing in detail as part of this course, but today I could give a little overview, and we will understand what data scientists do, or what a data science professionals roles and responsibilities, what they do as part of their daily work, what work they do, what are tools or technologies they use. As I was talking about statistics, statistics is science of collecting, analyzing, and interpreting the data, and we can present that data in the visual form. So this is all about statistics, right? So where we can make we can bring some sense out of the data with the numbers, right? For example, if I want to explain, let's say, a particular school, how good the school is. So if I start telling about each and every student's performance, it is really difficult for human to understand. But if I give you a short number which describes all these things, is all about what we are talking is statistics. Let's say average score of the students, or how students are performing over the long run. So that kind of information will probably help us to understand a better way. And that is all about some of the statistical tools and techniques we use to represent such information, right? And even in data science, statistics plays important role. But the good part is not everyone need to really master the statistics, but yes, some basic statistics is good enough to do some kind of exploratory data analysis in the data science projects. Okay. Data science is not a technology, but it's a whole new world. And in fact, it is not a new, but it is old is now new. Okay. So there are different roles in the data science, like data engineer, or analytics, or dashboard engineer, or we can say visualization engineer, or data analyst, or machine learning engineer, or data science. So data scientist is kind of one man for all these things. So this is something, the different roles, again, based on the business or based on the organization, based on the project. So such roles are segregated, but in some small projects, so only one or two people can manage all these roles in the in the organization. Okay. So yeah, this is about some basics on what data is, how we can use, and what is what statistics, right? If I don't want to discuss every detail in this particular session, in this short session, but what is important is to know some of the basic things, like mean, mode, median, standard deviation, variance, z-score, or the outliers, or skewness, or kurtosis, or some of the basic probability. So that should be enough for us to to explore this field, to perform to work on some data science projects, and that's the statistics we'll be covering as part of this comprehensive course. Okay. So this is the data scientist who understands the business problem, because data scientist is one who asks a lot of questions, relevant questions. He understands the business first, understand the business problem. It could be a business problem, or it could be an opportunity what business can probably achieve. Right. So that kind of the information or identification can be done by the data scientist, and he has to collect the data. He has to find the information from different sources or different stakeholders. It can be from the product, or sales, or engineering. So all this information can be collected and integrated. So that is what is the another important task data scientists do. And not only that, he has to, or he or she has to analyze that data, right? So such kind of analysis, exploration on the data is done. That's where we will get the insight, we will understand the data, and then we have to probably work on the data for cleaning up or processing or transformation. So ETL, or some of the statistical tools or some of the techniques to bring some valuable information from the raw data. Okay, there are many things in the data, so not necessarily everything is useful, right? So that's what the process or cleaning process or merging, or we might have multiple sources of data. So all these things are done as a important step in data science projects. It takes weeks or months to really come up with all this information, right from the sources, collection, analysis, cleaning or processing that data. And then later on, the data scientists work on building some model using some analytics or some statistical tools or some machine learning solutions. So we can bring something called a model which will work on the data, right? Before that, we have to understand what are the features we want to consider, what is that something we want to predict, so what is that something we want to solve. Okay, so with that, we can use some of the machine learning techniques to write a model, and which can be deployed, right? And not only that, deployment, monitoring, and support is also a part of a data science project, right? Where the system was built need to be monitored, whether it is doing well, how it is doing, and how we can support further. Okay, so this is about the role, or what the data science professional do in their day-to-day work, and there's a whole process altogether. So this will be discussed in detail during the course. So yeah, there is something called Python. You might have heard about why Python becomes so much popular. A lot of people prefer Python. They want to use, or the industry is moving towards implementing the machine learning algorithm or data science projects using Python programming. Okay, so as I said, programming is one important or crucial part of this whole exercise, right? Because we need some programming tool. We can use any programming language. It can be R, it can be SAS, it can be Java, or it can be Python. But today, Python becomes one of the popular language in the software development community, in the industry, or in the data science projects. How we can implement machine learning, and how data scientists, data science professionals work. Okay, so there are some of the important tools, important libraries available in the Python, and that makes Python a one-stop solution for all the data science work. Okay, so when I talk about Python, there's a lot to talk as part of this course. The good part is we will be discussing about Python from basics, what Python is, how to write your very first program in Python, and this course is designed in that way. But before that, why it is used is because of many reasons, right? One of the important reason is this is object oriented and easy programming language, yet it is high level programming language. One can learn easily, one can master easily, and it can be used to solve any big problem which any other programming can solve, right? There's automatic garbage collection. There are different ways we can write. We can write a procedural code, we can write script, we can write functional style of coding, or we can write object oriented programming. We can use it's a modular programming, and that brings a lot of important modules uh, you know for us to work. Okay, so not only that, but it is a free and open source. Nobody has to pay anything for using this programming language. And not only that, but the tools and the packages available, so everything is free, and anybody can use this for the commercial purpose. And that makes that is another important reason why why the companies prefer to use Python. Okay, some of the packages as I was talking about. So here you can see this is a NumPy. NumPy is a very popular module used for scientific computing. There is something called Pandas. It is used for data analytics. As we have discussed, data analytics is a crucial part in the data science project, where collecting or extracting the data, and then data we have to clean up, we have to work with the data. So this package is important important module which we can use in Python. Okay, there is something called SciPy. This is a mathematical and scientific package which can be used in your programming, right? And there is something called matplotlib. This is again one of the important package where we can do some kind of exploratory data analysis, and quickly we can present some data in the graphical form, graphical computing. And there is something called scikit-learn, sklearn. This is the machine learning module which can be used for building your models, writing your model, and which can be used to predict. Okay, not only that, we have something called deep learning. There are deep learning modules available. There's something called TensorFlow. There's something called a lot of packages in the deep learning which can be used. Okay, and not only that, we have a lot of predictive analysis we want to do with the big data domain. In the big data, you might have heard about Hadoop or Spark. So we have Python packages which can be used to work with these technologies like PyDoop and PySpark. So these are some of the libraries available. Not only that, we have Django in the web development world. We can write your microservice to your big web application. We can work with the natural language processing. We can work with the AWS using Boto 3. So there are many libraries available where we can go and we can work with these libraries. Correct. So yeah, so this is about how Python is used. I can demonstrate quickly, and we will see how why this Python becomes so much popular for doing your data science projects, and why these companies prefer this. Okay, so yeah, and this is about Python. Let me just see if I have missed something. Great machine learning libraries. This I already spoke about. Something called sklearn or scikit-learn. So advanced data exploration and visualization. This is again done by Pandas and NumPy. Visualization done by Matplotlib, by Seaborn, and many other libraries which can be used for exploration. Okay, so there's a quick poll question, guys, for you guys. There will be a question displayed on the screen. Could you please just have it just a moment? Yeah. So the question is, are you planning to get certified on data science? Select one or two, option one, option yes or no. Yes, just click there and submit, guys, quickly. Yeah, I see many responses. Quickly, guys, whoever has not done, I'll wait for another 10-15 seconds and then I'll resume. Okay, so this is about Python, and let me just brief something on the what we need to learn, right? What is that we should understand or we should learn in this space, right? In this domain. Okay. So in data science, there are a couple of things I want to just highlight here before I proceed. There's something called descriptive analysis, and there's something called prescriptive analysis, and there's something called predictive analysis. Okay, so these things will be discussed in detail, but I just want to give you a little overview on this. Descriptive means it is all about data mining, as I said, understanding the data, understanding the current patterns, understanding the trend in the data, and that can be done using your traditional BI as well, or traditional analytics tools. So what is happening right now is what is called descriptive analysis, right? And the prescriptive analysis is about using that data and suggesting the organization to take some action in order to solve the problem, or in order to get the benefit of that data, and take some action, right? And that's the suggestion done in the prescriptive analysis. It is a advice, what should we do? Okay. And the predictive is making the predictions for the future, which is unknown, and we can write something based on the historical data, and that can be used for making the predictions for future. Okay, so we can use some of the statistical modeling and forecasting techniques to understand the future, right? And this is something answer to what could happen, okay, with based on the historical data. Okay, so these are some of the basics before I discuss about these things in what we need to learn, the data engineering, data pre-processing. So this is where some of the Python techniques are useful. Then the data analysis, we have just discussed descriptive, prescriptive, and predictive analysis. So hope this is clear. If not, then please drop a question. I can answer this in the second part. Some of the statistics and probability, which I have, as I discussed already. So the basic statistics we need to know what is the statistics all about, and what these terms are, probably the jargons for you. So this will be covered in detail, but one has to know like the basic statistics, and then some of the probabilistic approach to solve some of the real-time problems, real-world problems, and that comes under inferential statistics. Okay, in the data visualization, we have some of the tools, like one of the tools we discussed is Matplotlib and Seaborn, but there are many different modules available for having different plots and different on the data. Okay, so visual presentation of data, and finding some of the interesting facts, or the findings from the data. Okay, machine learning is to use or to build the statistical model. The good part is we have scikit-learn. A lot of things have been implemented. It is all about using it. Okay, so that's why we don't need to be a master in everything, but knowing is important, and how we can leverage whatever is already developed is what we need to learn, and write your model. Okay, before I proceed on some of the hands-on stuff, let me just show you some of the quick I want to demonstrate something, how Python is important, and how Python is preferred programming language. Okay, I'm using one of the IDE. It's an interactive IDE, web-based IDE, integrated development environment for software people. Right, this is an interpreter, I would say. I can write something in Python here, and I get the output here, right? So this is a simple example how I write 100 to the power 100, and you see that the calculation happened, and I got the number here, right? So this is really a huge number, and those who have some programming background probably can understand, or if you are from C or C++ domain, so you will understand it's pretty simple what we have done here, right? But if you know in C, C++, it takes some amount of code to write such such calculations, and it is this is how Python is much popular, or much powerful, I would say. I can write something like this, and if I have these two variables, everybody understands this. If not, we will be discussing in detail. If x is greater than y and else y minus x. So, this is another quick stuff. Anybody can understand. If I want to write the same thing in C, C++, it takes 5 to 6 lines for such a small calculation. But in Python, it is one line and it gives me a lot of, task which can be done here, right? So here is another example how we can write, how we can reverse a string and we can check. And there is something called list comprehension. Okay, so we can quickly do this and check how we can write a small program which can be used to, let's say I want to find out if this number is even or not. Okay, what are the even numbers in this particular range. So one line code and we got something interesting, right? So this is just to make you understand, just to help you understand what this programming, why this programming is easy. Anybody can read this. It's like a broken English, in a simple like English, like a programming language. So yes, of course, we need to learn some basics, and those basics will be covered as part of this program, correct? So this training, but if we got that, if we catch those things, Python is really a fun, really a easy language to master and use important tools um, in this programming language. Okay, so let me go back and take you to the next slide. Yeah, here, right? So I have planned some case studies, some basics about how to write a model using data, and there are many steps to perform if you want to go with the some model which can help us to predict for classifying the type of cancer in this particular example. So let me get you to the basic things. Okay, I'll just start from the new cell. I will use, as I was talking about, important packages. I have NumPy, I have pandas. I can import that. Then I can import matplotlib dot. I'll use pyplot from this module, and I'll just create alias for this. Okay, these are the three important libraries we need to run. And now I'm going to use something called random forest. Okay, so this is one of the algorithm, right? It's a classification algorithm which can be used to write some model which will solve some of the classification problems, and one of the very popular or useful algorithm we can use here. So it's okay if you don't understand. There's a math behind every algorithm, and that will be discussed as part of this course. But today I'm going to just use this libraries to solve some of the problem. Okay, ensemble is the sorry, from sklearn ensemble. Import, I can use random forest. Okay, so just a minute. A random forest classifier. Okay, so this is the model, this is the random forest classifier class which is there available. We can use it. Now I can use some of the other important techniques or functionalities provided. I'll use them here. Train test split. There is something called the dependent variables, independent variables, and we have to split the data, your historical data, whatever is collected, and we can use that to train your model, right? Once your model is trained, we need some portion of the same data to test that model whether we are doing good or not, right? So, and that's why we use this train test split. We can also use some of the metrics. So I just import metrics, sorry, from, okay, from this import I'll use, let's say, something called confusion matrix, accuracy score. So these things we will discuss, later on. But for now, I will just use some, I want to get the data from, yeah, the CSV file, which is available on my desktop. So what I can do is users, Ganesh, desktop. I think it's there inside data folder. And here I have, breast cancer data set. Okay. So what we can do with this data is I can quickly describe how this data looks like. So that's a CSV file, or it can be Excel file. So whatever file format, we can use that, and we can import that data into your programming. Okay. So we got this data, and what we can see from this data is this is the information. I've just written 5 rows from this data. I just wanted to understand what these different fields are. So there are many records, by the way. So there are 569 patients information stored in this particular file. Okay. So what information is there? The idea, the diagnosis, radius. This is something about breast cancer. So these are the technical terms. Probably doctor understands better than us. But what we can understand as a data science professional is we want to get some kind of insight from all these values and some kind of predictions. Okay. So diagnosis, if you see, just let me make it a little small. Yeah. So data dot diagnosis dot unique. Okay. So if I see there is something called B and M is a malignant type of cancer, and B is a benign type of cancer. There are two types of cancers they have reported here, and for every type of cancer, these are some of the features like radius of the tumor, or texture, or perimeter, or area mean, smoothness, or compactness. So all these features are all these important attributes for each patient's diagnostic report. Okay, so based on this, we can see that, okay, if I get another diagnostic report with these numbers, sorry, yeah, with these numbers, so my model should be able to classify that patient, whether that patient has a which type of cancer, whether it's a malignant type of cancer or it's a benign type of cancer, right? So that's the idea, and that's what something this time we want to solve the problem with respect to that. Okay. Now, before that, we have to do some kind of exploration with the data. And as I said, when we want to really explore, we have to really understand the data, and we have to deal with some of the important facts about the data, right? For example, you see unnamed 32. So we don't know, nobody knows, in fact, right? What is this? So this might be something came accidentally because there is no data. NaN means it's a missing information there. So that is something could be a missing or something which is not expected data, right? Which we should not, we don't want to use it. So what we can do is we can use drop function from this pandas library, and we can remove. Let me copy this to avoid spelling. Okay, so I can use this, and I can drop it. Okay. So now look at this. There is some error. So we can quickly do, because it looked for the, rows by default. And now this particular column got removed. Look at this at the end. I don't see that particular column, right? But this data has not reflected this info. This removal of this column is not reflected in the data frame. So we can do is, in place equal to true. So this will make the changes then and there in the data set itself, data frame, and now your data frame won't have this change. Okay, so that's how we can do. We can also drop, let's say, ID. Do you think ID plays any important role in classifying the cancer based on the diagnostic report? No, right? ID is just an identifier for the patient. So we can remove ID as well. Okay, and we can see this is how your data looks like, right? And there is something called something called label encoding and one hot encoding. So we have to, machine learning understands only the numbers. So we have all the numbers except the target variable, that is diagnosis. Okay, so this diagnosis can be converted using apply function. Let's say okay, diagnosis I can apply. I'm just making it a simple using, I'll just write this lambda x colon. I just want to map, one for M type of cancer and 0 for B. Okay. If value is equal to M and else, I will simply use 0. Okay. This gives me, yeah, data it is, not data frame. Okay. So this gives me data dot head. Yeah, this has converted your diagnosis column with the numbers now, right? One indicates your malignant type of cancer, and B is your, or 0 is your benign. Okay, so we can do some more statistical or visualization stuff. I need to import one more library called import Seaborn as SNS, and I can simply use plot count plot, and I can probably use diagnosis. And let me see if it gives something. Yeah, it gives me diagnosis based on its account for different type of diagnosis here. So EM and N 0 and 1. So EM and B. So these are the numbers here. We can see these many patients belongs to benign. So this is based on the existing data. So we can do so many things here. We can find out the relationship, a correlation. So I'll just make it little short here, as we have very less time to cover all these things. So what I'll do is I'll jump onto, getting your features extracted from this called X variable, and in X I use, ilog function from data science, data frame, and one, except first I want to get all the features, right? Except diagnosis, I want to get all, right? These are the features, and I want to convert it to NumPy. So I use values, and I want to use target variable, and that I will also use ilog function, and I go for all the rows. So these things will be the syntax and all for those who are new. Just hold on. I mean, this will be discussed as part of the course, and this will be comfortable for everyone. It's easy, we can learn. Okay, so let me create a random forest model, and I can use random forest classifier, which we have imported just some time back now from a library which is available called scikit-learn. Okay, so we got this, and it is just creating an object for that particular class, and we get this. Okay, so you can check the help page. There is something called n estimator. So we haven't discussed map behind random forest. So random forest works on a decision tree, and decision tree, we have some of the concepts, some of the mathematics behind decision tree as well. There's something called Gini index, Gini impurity, and some of the basic terms, jargons, like how the decision tree is formed. So all these things will be discussed, like entropy and information gain, and how the decision tree works. And random forest is nothing but a collection of trees, decision trees, right? And that's why we need to specify n estimators, and n estimators I can use any number here. So that means I'm creating those many trees to take some decision on every sample, and collective decision we can make it, right? I'll take random state as 2. I'll go with only 2 for now, and later on we will go with many trees as well. Okay, so rf.fit, we have to fit with the data. And now here, if I want to train, I don't want to train this model with the whole data set, but that's the reason what I can do is I can use train test split to split the data. Let me copy the syntax from here. Okay, from the help page, you'll get it here only. Yeah, so you got X and Y. and you can give the test size, how much data you want to use. Maybe let's say 20% I want to use for testing purpose and 80% I use for the training the model. Okay, this value I can keep it some random state, and now if I want to train the model, I will use the uh, sorry, the training data. So we have to use this fit method to train. Okay, x train, and I want to give y train, because x and y I want to feed all the information to the model in order to get the model trained for question and answer type of scenario, right? So I'm telling X train means I'm telling all the features, and I'm telling Y train, that means I'm telling the results for each feature, right? So whether which type of cancer based on this data is already I'm training this model with. Okay, so once I do this, you can see this classifier has many attributes. We haven't discussed anything out of this, but we went with the basic stuff, and now we can see that RF has trained with the existing data, right? And that's RF is a model which is now trained. Now let me predict something, right? So Y pred we can do, and we can use RF dot predict, and in the predictions, what I want to use is I want to use your test data, and your y test is not used because y test is the actual answer, and now y pred will have the predicted answers, and now I want to compare those actual versus the predicted to understand how my model has done so far, right, with this particular piece of code. So how can we do is we can use confusion matrix, y test, comma, uh, predictions, right, pred y. So this gives me some kind of matrix. Here there are two types of classifications here, two types of cancer. We got 2 by 2 matrix, or if this is more classification, then we will have those many matrix. That's the dimension of the matrix. Okay, so here, I will explain you a little bit about how to read the confusion matrix. But before that, let me see, what kind of accuracy we achieved from this particular model. Yeah, I can see that 92.98% is what accurately our model is doing in the prediction. Okay, so that means suppose if I go to this data set, right here, I see, suppose I have around, how many records I have around 569 records, right? Out of that we used 80%, so almost less than 500 records I use for training a model, and another 80 or 90 records I use to evaluate whether my model has done good or not, and that's what y-test is, right? Y-test is just used for checking, comparing with the results, and I see that y-test has given me 92 point, that comparison happened, and 92 point or 93% is what we have achieved. Okay, so this is how we can calculate in the here in the um, uh, confusion matrix. So this diagonal elements gives you the right predictions. Okay, and we can see that, okay, this 65 and 41 is the rightly predicted data points from the test set, and 4 and 4 you can see on the upper side and the lower side, other than the diagonal elements. So those gives you the false predictions. The one on the upper is false positive. That means we say that, okay, something is benign, and we find that that is a malignant, right? So something that sort, right? Something will happen, but it didn't happen, right? And that's the wrong predictions, and we call it as false positive. And on the lower side, it is false negative. Okay, so this is the matrix, gives you actual versus the predicted data. Okay, so yeah, so this is about how we can use a model to write and understand the machine learning algorithm. Okay, so these things will go, we will learn in detail about all the concepts with this. Before I stop my part, I just want to share with you guys one more case study which might be useful to understand what data science or how data science can help businesses to predict or to solve some of the business problems. Okay. And yeah, so I'm almost into this with this short story. In a couple of minutes I will open for you guys for the questions and answers. You might have heard, or you might have gone through this, but this is one of the very popularly used use cases are in the businesses like GE. If you heard about, it's a big company. I hope you heard about GE. And GE has a ecosystem, and they use something called Predix Cloud. Okay, so that Predix Cloud is used for predicting. This is the AWS or Azure based cloud that is used for predicting the the wind turbines, right? If you heard about this GE is in the power. They are into power. They are into automobile. They are into machines or turbo engines. If you heard about, so turbo engines are made in GE, and there are other competitors as well, and that is put into the aeroplanes, right? So, the Predix cloud is used to predict the, MTBF, right? That is something called mean time between failure. Okay, so how these predictions will help businesses to improve the experience of the customers, and it will also help to save the time, right? The downtime. Okay, so for Indigo uses the turbo jet engines manufactured by GE, right? Of course, GE don't supply directly to Indigo, but Indigo buys planes from some other companies, and GE sells their turbojet to the other company like Boeing or Airbus, whatever, right? So I don't want to go in that detail about what all this process is, but the situation, the scenario, or the use case to discuss here is, one fine day the Indigo guys, their hub is somewhere, in India, maybe in Kolkata or somewhere. So every flight is, when they are not flying, they are there. Okay, so a couple of engineers from G landed there, and they wanted to inform to the people, or the to Indigo officers, that okay, this particular turbo engine is going to fail in another week or so. Okay, so how they got to know is, it is all about data, right? Data is telling them, data is helping them to predict such failures. And they came there, and they have fixed the problem even before they got the approvals. They got the fix there, and they have whatever glitch was there, they have fixed, and they went off. And later on, the Indigo guys got got this fixed, and then for next 6 months, whatever was committed by GE, there was not even a single problem they faced in the turbojet engine. Okay, so that gave a very good customer experience, because they made sure that the fix happened, and there's no zero downtime, right? So downtime means there is a revenue loss for the companies like Indigo, right? So more than the loss, saving money, it was about a customer delight, isn't it? So that customer experience was seamless, and then Indigo gave the blanket permission for all the G people to come anytime and fix such issues if they predict. Not only that, with such a data, Predix got a big success, and they can now test their engines with the live data. Put sensors on the turbojet, and whatever flight it's flying, so they can have such information live. Okay, and that again becomes a USP for such a big companies, right? The point is how data science can help to have such kind of predictive models, which can be used to predict the MTBF, that is mean time between failure, right? So this is just a one use case, and this can be applicable to any businesses for that matter. Okay, so yeah, so this is what was planned, what I thought of sharing with you guys. With a very short time, I have tried to give you a lot of insights. So I would like to open for the questions. Let me see if I get any questions. from you guys. Okay, I see a lot of hands, raised here. Instead of unmuting everyone, could you guys type your questions so that I can check and I can get your questions clarified? Just a minute, I'm not able to see the chat box. Mm, yeah. So, okay. Any question, guys? Anybody has any question? Please drop a message. Okay, so anything on the topic, if I want to just quickly brief what all things we have covered. So, if there is something, I can see a lot of hands from Mohammad, Siddesh, Sanasam, Bindu, Harish, Sujay, Bhanu. Is there anything, guys, I can help you? Suviru or Akanksha, Venkatesan, Jayesh, Mohammad. So yeah, feel free to drop a message. I can probably help you, to clarify your questions. So I can see many hands. Mm, yeah, just a minute. Let me go through. Yeah, I can see a lot of questions, but let me. Yeah, now I'll go with the reverse direction. Let me just read out your questions, guys. Mm, Okay, a good question. Aditya says, how much a data scientist get paid if he's a beginner level? Okay, very good question. And this data scientists are really the position where a lot of company are looking for, right? They are dying to get the right people. If you are a right candidate, trust me, there's no limit to the salary, especially in India, where the industries are growing and industries have a lot of exposure. So whatever I have seen, whatever I have interviewed, is many times I have seen the right candidate is getting twice the person who is getting the salary in the same band or same experience level in the IT industry, right? If a software developer gets X amount, so the software developer or the data scientist is chances that he will get more than 2x or 3x compared to other people in the same industry. Okay, so what is exactly AI? How can machine learning be differentiated from AI? AI is a big term, and machine learning is a part of AI. Sanasan has this question, Sanasan. So AI is anything which is used to mimic the human behavior, right, or human thinking capabilities. Is a system. That system is termed as AI, and machine learning is a predictive model. Okay, so machine learning can be used in AI, but AI is a bigger term, and machine learning is a small subset of AI. Okay, hope Sanasam, I have answered your question. Pradnya, I have to see the video also. I didn't get you. Video means I have already shared the screen. Hope you were able to see that. Uh, do you have courses on Python to master? Yes, there are courses, but in the data science course as well, we have good amount of Python where right from a beginner anybody can learn what Python is, and they can start directly using the applications of Python can be done on the data science field. Okay, Aditya, I hope I have answered. And for more clarity, please drop a mail to Cognixia support@cognitia.com, and you will probably get more details about this. Okay, yeah, these are the contacts here. Okay, Harsh has a question. Can you again repeat the topic of data analysis? So I don't know if this is an old question, Harsh. I hope I have repeated, have explained you about data analysis. What is the difference between data science and machine learning? Akanksha. So data science is is a science which is something to do with only the data. Machine learning is a predictive modeling, predictive analysis, right? Of course, there is a data required for the machine learning as well. Based on the historical data, we can do some kind of predictions. That prediction or predictive modeling is what is called machine learning. Okay, so machine learning is a part of data science. Data science has different tools and techniques which can be used for bringing some sense, or it is all about collecting the data mining, maths and stats and computers. So everything is involved in data science, but machine learning is only specific to the predictions, right? The predictive modeling. Okay, and that is what is called machine learning. Hope I have answered, Akanksha. Which software is suitable for data science? Okay, I will suggest Python is the best one. Industry is moving towards, companies are using Python, but data science can be done using anything. Power BI can be used for doing some kind of data science, data analytics, or you can use Java, you can use R programming, or you can use SAS. SAS is expensive software, it's paid, and that's the reason probably people are moving towards Python. And not only that, but Python is a one-stop solution for many other things. If you have a legacy software in some other programming, Python is easy to integrate that. If you are doing something with the uh, the web development, Python is easy to integrate that. Okay, hope I have answered Akanksha. Akanksha has another question. What are the fields available for data scientists, right? So what are the fields means in every domain this can be used. Okay, this data science is used in every domain. Okay, a lot of questions are there. I will take another 5 to 10 minutes to answer this. What is the use of random state? Okay, random state is to pick the data or the records from the random places, right? In my example, in the train test split, I have used random state too. If I don't use random state, and if I try to segregate the data, it will give me the continuous data. Let's say if I want to predict the rainfall based on last 50 years, and features could be, let's say, temperature, humidity, right? So suppose if these are the features, and if I pick this information for just 5 years, and if I try to test our model, which is trained for last 50 years, so last 5 years and a couple of decades ago, the things have changed a lot, right? So the good idea to pick records is randomly from all the 50 years information. So a couple of records from 1960, 1970, and so on, right? So that gives you a right combination of your test and train data set. Okay, what are the other different parameters for random forest algorithm? How can we decide values for that? Okay, there are different techniques. There is something called hyperparameter tuning, Suraj. So that can be used for defining the parameters or adjusting the parameters or right values for this model as well, right? And it can be for any other like SVM or support vector machine. So all these models have different parameters, and we can use grid search CV or any other techniques to hyper tune these parameters with the different values, and we can choose the best one. Okay, and that's how the models are can be improved based on these values. Okay, Jayesh has a question: how can we predict for any given set of factors, right? So yes, Jayesh, you need to know what does that mean. Any given set of factors means there are features and we need to know what are the features and what we want, right? We need to know, right? That's the domain knowledge plays important role. If you are in banking, if you want to know what are the customers who can probably buy a new product if you are launching in the market, so based on your customer information, so what features are customer spending capacity, customers track record, customer credit score, so these are some of the features, right? So if you are in banking, you know better than anybody else, right? So that's how we can decide which factors are important and which factor we can use as a feature. Okay. Saviru, I see when will we have a next session. So please check with the Cognixia support. You drop a mail to webinar, support@cognitia.com. They will help you, or call on these numbers. They will guide you on the next sessions and the batch start. Okay. Now, how can we be certified in computer science? From where should we begin? Dinah, I think you should start with learning something. Certification. These are the Cognitia provides the global certifications as well. Check with the support, but start with something, and that will lead you to the better career opportunities. Okay, where to start in data science if have zero experience? Bhanu, there is no problem. No prerequisite as such for this course. Zero experience is fine, or any other experience is fine. This course is good for business analyst, or BI developers, or software engineers, or architect, or freshers, or a mechanical engineer. So this will help you to get your skills in the market. Okay, so we don't need anything for this. This course will be right from the basics, and you can build your entire skill set right from starting. Okay. Rajesh has a question. Thanks for the insight. The topic is interesting. I would like to understand if you are covering Python with this course. I'm a layman for this topic. Yes, yes, Rajesh. Absolutely, we will be covering, with the very basics of Python, and we can directly use those Python stuff. Okay. So there was some disturbance. I think I was disconnected. I hope I'm audible again. I want to build a management system using Python. So what library? Okay, Aditya, need to understand more about what exactly you're looking for, but whatever packages I have shared in this presentation will be definitely useful in many of the business problems. Okay, Vinay, sir, it was a really nice session. Yeah, thanks, Vinay. Francis is, are you going to touch a bit of topological data analysis? So not covered as part of this program, but yes, if you have any specific use case, I can take it one-on-one during the course. I do that with other participants as well. Venkatesan, I'm working in IT field. How it will be if I choose to learn Python? It's absolutely fun, and I suggest everyone to learn Python, guys. It's a really nice programming language. Not necessarily with this course, but anywhere and whenever you get, you just start doing something. Okay, what type of problems face in projects? So this is a very generic question, Venkat. There are a lot many things to talk about this. Maybe if you have specifically specify that. Shobit is asking, sir, how can I use Python in to make IoT devices? Again, Shobit, it is something specific. We have to explore some areas in that, and we have many packages in IoT also. We can probably list down whenever we discuss this with the more details, right? Siddesh, which is the best platform where I start my career in the data science. So, you start anywhere, Siddesh, but starting is important, and with that determination, with that commitment, if you start learning, you will definitely make it in the data science, right? This generates more interest. So I see a lot of questions, guys. I may not be able to cover all these questions, but I will spend another 5 minutes, and we will take other questions. If you drop those questions on support@cognitia.com, I'll take it later on. A lot of questions I see flowing here. My question is that how can we deal with the null values? Yes, Vinay, null values can be handled. Like I have dropped cells, so we can drop null values or null cells, or we can use some of the missing or null information with some data which we can think about applying, okay, using. So there are different techniques to handle that. Probably as part of course we will discuss in detail. Okay, how can will be certified in computer science? Diana, I think I have answered. It is a repetition, I think. From where should we begin? So check with support. I'm sure they will guide you with this question about the certification. But my belief or my understanding is more than certification. Knowledge is important, because at the end of the day, certification is just entry in the or I would say it's it gives you the opportunity to discuss, but ultimately companies will prefer those who know something in that area, right? So knowing is important, learning is important. Mohammed, how is machine learning used for business decision? As I have showed in the demonstration, guys, Mohammed, I think that that is giving you insight about how we have used machine learning technique to predict the cancer type, right? So there are many use cases, like as I was sharing with you, how G has used the predictive modeling using predicts. So that is another use case. Okay. Shasa is saying you assign first for X and Y, then use X train and Y train. Can we use X and Y instead of X train and Y train? Yes, yes, Shasha, we can use it, but I have split it into training and testing data set because I wanted to validate also, right? And that's the reason. But you're right, you can do even using X and Y. Akanksha, I have sent you 3 questions. I think I have answered. Uh, Sanasam, how to ask a question. So in the real sessions, I unmute guys, but there is a huge amount of participants in this particular webinar, so I could not unmute everyone. So in the live session, whenever we do the sessions, there is a provision to unmute and participants can speak, and even I can speak. Okay, so that's the provision when we work on the course. Okay, another couple of minutes I'll take, guys. Many questions will be unanswered. Sorry for that, but with the limitation with the time, we have to go with that. Okay, Suraj, I have already explained about random state. Mohammed, machine learning and deep learning. Yeah, this is again deep learning is a subset of machine learning, but it is more of artificial intelligence. We will take it. This is a big topic, Mohammed. We have to take it separately. What is the data science certification available in market? There is no one organization provides certification, but Cognixia is one of many companies, and they have the global certification. So you may check with the support, and they will help you. Siva Kumar, can you please brief everything completed till now? Siva, I think we are late now. Sorry, I saw your question now, but yes. If you check with them with the support, they will provide you the recording for this webinar as well, and mostly that will help you. Okay, Vinay, about data cleaning, yes, Vinay, but we have done little bit, this is a huge topic and it takes a little more time to cover. And in the course, we will be doing this for whole 3 hours about how to do kind of cleaning stuff. And after we learn the pandas libraries. Okay, another 1 minute I'll spend on the questions. Mm, how to master Python language in list and dictionaries. Part of Python course, it is covered. Akshat, Srinath, is it mandatory for Python deep coding for data scientist? Not deep coding, but yes, it is mandatory to learn Python. If not the expert level, but at least the beginner level, we should know. Without programming, we can't do anything, Srinath. But the good part is in this course, we will be learning right from the basics. Okay. So we will be learning from scratch. Okay. Let me take, oops, sorry. Yeah, by mistake, I clicked on the camera. Sorry for that. Okay, how to become a data scientist from fresher to BTech? We have already talked. BTech fresher can also be a data scientist. You have to just start it first, and that's important. And then you will be a data scientist. Which topic is most important in data science? Okay, we will cover Harsh, Mohammed. I see a lot of questions unanswered, guys. Sorry for that. But I will take these questions. If you drop mail to support, they will connect you and they will pass on the questions to me. I'll answer your questions. So yeah, that's all. From my side, and unanswered questions. I apologize for not covering everything because we have a committed time of 1.5 hours. So don't hesitate. Feel free to drop questions. And thanks again for your time. I think a couple of minutes if you guys have. Let me check. Just a moment. Okay. In the couple of minutes, I can take last few questions. Is there any important question you guys feel? Can you guys drop right now? The last couple of questions I can still take. Okay. Azruddin has said, I have done BTech and MBA. Do you think I can get into data science job? It's purely for engineering candidates only. Not necessarily. If you are MBA, I would say this is you can definitely do it. You have to just have your commitment and start putting your efforts. It is not a rocket science. You can definitely learn it. Okay. How much cost for the entire course? Uh, Praghadesh, please check with support. They will guide you with the best possible. Okay, I get a lot of questions again. Yeah, please check with them and they will help you. Okay, now, how big data is helpful in data science? Yes, of course, everything is now big data. A lot of data has been generated, and we can use that for the for the data science. Okay, how data science can relate with the sensor technology? Yeah, so everything is related, guys. It's a whole ecosystem where we can use this data science techniques everywhere. Okay, your session is really great. Thank you for your time and knowledge. Yeah, Diana, thank you. How to choose the right machine learning algorithm? There is a technique, there is a way, there are different algorithms we use. Perin, we have to learn first what is this in detail, and then you can probably explore this. Is data science useful in cyber security and data classification? Of course, a lot of use cases I have gone through, and yes, it is. Okay, Dheeraj. Is it necessary to go in good in maths for data science? It's good, but not necessary right now. We have to learn something basic stuff we need to know, and we will learn it. Which software is good for visualization, like histograms? So matplotlib we can use. Tableau is there, or many other things are there. Okay. How identify overfitting, underfitting? Yeah, we will go, Sanasam. We'll go in detail with the overfitting, underfitting. So all these terms we can learn. But I think we are done with the time now, and we will cover this, or maybe I can answer you offline with this particular question. Okay, so yeah, thank you again. Thanks, guys. Thank you for your time. And yeah, I think I'm done. Let me see. Okay, thank you, guys. Thank you again. And I think I'm done now. I think I was expecting. Uh, is there any closure note? Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's it then. Please connect with the support for any further questions, and I'll be glad to revert with the answers. Okay. Yeah, thank you, guys. Okay, guys, we are done now, and thanks again for your time. It was glad discussing with you, and put your questions. I will answer whatever unanswered questions are still there. Okay, thank you again, and have a good evening and good weekend. Okay, thank you.